2018 version of Robin Hood is another take on this story that's been done so many different times before in films, but is this new version any good? No. No, it's not very good. So before we get into the negatives of this film, I thought we'd talk about some of the positives, because there are some. It's not total crap, but some positives. This movie has some good ideas. There are some decent concepts that are shown throughout the film. There are some moments I'm like, yeah, that's alright. That's a good concept. I like where you're going with that. Most of it isn't executed very well. Most of these good concepts are completely brushed past and just not executed well. But I can say there were some good concepts in there. There were things that I said, I quite like that. I just wish it was done better and in a different film. Another thing is, some of the shots. This movie is a good-looking movie, I can say. It has some good shots. Some of the action sequences are fine. But the two best things I can say about this movie are just okay things. That these things are just alright. And the positive of this movie, I can't actually say anything good about this film. But the best things that I can say about this film is just that the best things about this film are just mediocre. That's not good at all. And that's the end of the positives, I think. Taron Egerton, actually, he plays an alright performance, you know, you can tell he's trying. But there's just such a terrible script that surrounds this film, that so many great actors are in this movie. Ben Mendelsohn is in this movie, but he just plays his stereotypical Ben Mendelsohn villain that he's now been playing for a few years. He was the main villain in Ready Player One, in Rogue One, in Robin Hood, and he's now going to be the villain in Captain Marvel, I believe. And he's played the same villain every single time. But there's some good moments with him, I guess, where he has these little outbursts and stuff. But it's so stereotypical for what we've seen for him before, and I'm getting quite bored of his villains now. Another thing is, the characters, all of them, are bad. There is no development for any of them. By the end of the film, they're exactly the same as how they started off. It's really mind-boggling to me how a movie with this much budget and this much put behind it, and it does look alright, you know, it's a good-looking film, it has some good shots, but it really surprises me how they didn't go further than they did. Because some of the direction here is awful. It's really bad. And this film had such a big budget, and it's such a big blockbuster. They could have done so much more with this story. Also, some of the expositional scenes are awful, especially with the movie starting and ending with these monologues from Friar Tuck that I thought were awful. Really bad stuff. The action sequences in the movie, this is the one thing the movie could have done good. This is the one thing I thought the movie could have done pretty good, but the action sequences are well choreographed, but there's a horrible thing in the action sequences, and slow-mo shots I don't mind in movies, but not when they're used like this, because these slow-mo shots in this movie are overused so much. Every single action scene is just 5 minutes of slow-mo shots. It is mind-boggling to me that they thought this was a good idea. It's not. It's not. I can't actually believe they did this. It is really bad. The amount of slow-mo shots in this movie is absolutely ridiculous. And these action scenes would actually be pretty cool if they didn't have these slow-mo shots. The pacing is also really bad. And this movie is very fast-paced. But sometimes fast-paced can be a bad thing. This movie feels like it goes over so quickly. Because it's just... you don't care about anything that's going on, and it just finishes, and you're just like, I'm not going to remember that ever again. It's just not well made. It's really not well made. The performances are really bad. Some of the line delivery is really bad, and there is talent in this movie. There is things that I can see there, and there are things in this movie that I like, this could be improved, but they just didn't try. And the script really needed to be improved with this movie as well, because the whole plot and story are messy and awkward and just really, really incoherent throughout the film. And it's such a bugging movie, because I saw potential in this film. And when I was watching, I was like, this is a good concept. This could work. But at the end of the day, this movie does not work. It has a few positives, it has a few good things. But overall, this movie, it's not a disappointment, because I wasn't expecting this movie to be good anyways. But it's just a movie that I think could have been a lot better, with a lot more time put to it. And if they actually tried to make something good, besides just trying to make money. And this movie even sets up a sequel at the end, which is absolutely absurd. I can't believe this exists. Overall, I'm going to be giving Robin Hood a D+. I'm also going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. Yeah. Guys, comment your opinions down below on this movie if you've seen it, and if you haven't seen it, just don't bother. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.